तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. In verses 18 and 19, we have a nice feeling. These are verses to give relief. Now that we have worked hard to banish the ajnanam, what will happen? It cannot come again. It's kind of nice, isn't it? It will not come again, provided it has been totally, fully dismissed. It will not come back. And if the ajnanam will not come back, what else won't come back? Sorrow, fear, kartritvam. So first we have to say kartritva, bhoktritva, buddhi. The involvement and the attachment to the idea, the wrong notion that I am the doer, etc. And I am the experiencer of actions, I am the doer, all these things. And then after that, what is there? After that, kartritva, bhoktritva, buddhi is there. And then because of the kartritva, bhoktritva, buddhi, there is guilt. And then what else is there? Hurt. Guilt is the direct offset of doership. The wrong notion that I am an agent of action is due to guilt. Because if you identify as an agent of action, what happens? If you identify as an agent of action, what happens? Oh, I should have done something else. I didn't do the right thing. I made a mistake. The feeling of your own omissions and commissions bothering you is very much there. And this is also acknowledged by the Upanishads. Kimaham sadhuna karavam, kimaham papam akaravam iti. What's the translation? Together. Why did I do the wrong thing? Why didn't I do the right thing? With swara. See the translation instantly. So, why didn't I do the right thing? I should have done the right thing. I should not have done the wrong thing. How come I'm doing the wrong thing? Why come I'm not doing the right thing? If one attaches to the thought, the idea, the notion of doership, what happens? Guilt is there. Terrible guilt. And then people want to know what they did in the last life. This life itself can't live with the guilt. This life itself, oh my God, OMG. And if last life also, if we knew what all we had done, imagine, just imagine what it would be like. And therefore, the kartritva buddhi is a recipe for guilt, and then guilt precedes sorrow. Because if you're feeling guilty, can you feel happy? No, obviously not. You feel afraid of consequences and you feel sad. Then, okay, I won't be a karta because it makes way for guilt. What will you be then? Bhokta, that's nice. I'll be the experiencer. Let me be the experiencer. Let me not be the one that is the doer. Experiencer means what happens? If you are the experiencer? Hurt. Gives way to hurt. Because If you are guilty, you are terrorized. One is terrorized by one's own omissions and commissions. If you are hurt, that means you become an object of other people's omissions and commissions. Take your pick, right? Either I'm terrorized by my own omissions and commissions, or I'm terrorized by other folks' omissions and commissions. Why didn't you wish me for my birthday? Big thing it becomes. That means what? Other people omitted to wish me. And that means what? I am a bhokta of other people's omissions. Why did they do that? Whoever they are and whatever they did. Like this, people develop more and more gray hairs, thinking, why did they do that? Because they couldn't do otherwise. That's all they could do. That's all they were capable of. If they were capable of something else, they would have done that. But that's not what they are capable of. And so, why did they not do this? Why did they do this? They should not have done this. They should have done this. How much control do you have over other people's behavior? None. And so bhoktritvam leads to hurt. Hurt leads to resentment, anger, and sorrow because the people are not behaving the way you want them to. And guess what? They'll never behave the way you want them to. Even if you paid them, they will continue to disappoint you. I'll give you a monthly retainer, please don't disappoint. And then they are immediately disappointed by the amount that you're offering them. So then that starts like a downward spiral like that. It doesn't work. Kartritva buddhi, bhoktritva buddhi are the recipes for samsara. And then what is this samsara? Some sorrow or the other all the time. The jada, the moola, is in bhoktritva buddhi and kartritva buddhi. Kartritva buddhi is removed by karma yoga. It's totally removed by karma yoga. That I am a karta is falsified by karma yoga. Because what happens in karma yoga? Ishvara is the doer. I'm not the doer. You drag in Ishvara. Even if Ishvara says, I'm really busy, I don't want to be the doer. You please take care of your life. No, you have to come in here and I'm going to drag you in here. You be the doer. And who is the producer of the result of action? Ishvara. So I become who? I just become not the recipient of the other people's omissions and commissions. I become the recipient of prasada, entirely different and amazing. Entirely different and totally amazing. I become the recipient of prasada. You see how I have converted bhoktritvam into prasada and kartritvam into karma yoga. This is the secret passage. You know, in these old days, when the palaces used to have secret tunnels that led the king and the royal family out into safety. So in this royal jail, samsara is very attractive jail. It's like a palace. They say, don't ever leave home. You don't need to leave this jagat. Everything is right here to keep you in bondage forever, so to speak. And so how to escape through the secret chute, through the secret passage. The secret passage is giving up of kartritva and bhoktritva buddhis. The bhoktritva buddhi and kartritva buddhi, since they have been with us all the time, very difficult to give up. It's been there even from past life, I think. So what to do? Kartritva buddhi is taken care of by karma yoga, where I redefine my relationship with my action. I eschew all sense of agency with regard to action, And then when I give up agency, then it's not an agentless action. It's Ishvara is the agent of action in that I am, in that awareness. So if Ishvara is the agent of action, what happens? Then the result of actions cannot come from me. They come from Ishvara. So whatever comes from Ishvara, we don't look at it with suspicion. If a stranger hands out candy, you say, I don't think so. We tell our children also, don't go with strangers. Don't go for candy. We tell our children as well. So here, this is a very different thing. Here, it automatically becomes prasada. Prasada means that which makes me happy, that which is good for me, that which is beneficial to me, that because of which I have a sense of contentment. Prasada makes me content. So everything that comes is Ishvara's prasada. Sometimes it is sweet, sometimes it's like bitter gourd, Karela. Karela is supposed to be very good for health. People drink juice of the Karela all the time. I don't know how, and I don't want to know why, but they do drink it. So then we have the teaching here of how to convert bhoktritva buddhi. Converting bhoktritva buddhi is prasada. Can you not do that? You are distracting the whole class. So, converting bhoktritva buddhi into prasada is the way of going out of this sorrow caused by karta, bhokta, everything. So, we have here a very beautiful teaching, which is at once the vision of Vedanta and simultaneously a practical guide to be adopted in one's day-to-day life. See, I said day-to-day life. In one's daily life. Yeah, please do that afterwards. Please do that afterwards. Yeah, it's very disturbing, distracting. Whatever you're doing, I don't know, but it can wait. Thank you. Then we have so verse 18, what did it say? It talked about how the avidya does not come back. Verse 19 ties avidya directly with karta bhokta buddhi. So if avidya is not there, then karta bhokta buddhi is not there, and the knowledge alone without a second shines. Without a second it shines. And then in verse 20 and 21, what have we been seeing? Adi Shankara takes a little bit of a turn and talks about how knowledge and karma are not seen as one and the same or connected or related, even in the Shruti. In the Shruti, there is a healthy presence of the discussion of two lifestyles. One lifestyle where you are doing whatever you are doing, but you are growing to gain the knowledge. You're getting to be a responsible person, an accountable person who is aware of the world and who is aware of one's own participation in the world. You're getting to the place of being a person who is emotionally mature, compassionate, and very, very sensitive to what is going on around one. That is the growth. Then, with this preparation, the Karta Bhokta Buddhi is further gone away when you choose this lifestyle, the other lifestyle, where you let go of everything. You let go of everything. There is no insurance policy. There is absolutely no insurance policy. You don't say, I'm going to try out how orange color looks on me. And if it clashes with my complexion, after a month I'm back. Or I'm going to try out this lifestyle. In everything. 2 weeks you try a trial period. You see, in everything. Free trial period for 1 week, 2 weeks exists. When you buy something also, it says you can return it within 2 weeks. You can return it within 7 days. After 7 days, you say, okay, this is not for me. Back. No. That's not how it is. Because the person who makes this choice has already contemplated on the uselessness of doing and has understood the importance of knowing the truth of oneself. So they put aside the doership and they just proceed on the path of knowledge. Two lifestyles. Knowledge is common to both. Knowledge is absolutely common to both. Two lifestyles. One is, one is all the time one is studying, and the other maybe one is studying once or twice a week, but still one is studying. This is what we have to see, that Adi Shankara seeks the Shruti Pramana to show us that these two lifestyles are there, but they cannot be talked about as karma. Karma yoga is not karma. So the Shruti references we have seen, the first Shruti reference was from the Mahanarayana Upanishad. Atyare chayat. What? Nyasa. Nyasa, sannyasa, letting go is superior to holding on. That's really what it is. Actually, one is not holding on. What is one doing? One is being held on by all the objects and possessions of desire. And so this is the teaching here. Then कर्मभ्यः मानसान्तेभ्यः एतावतिति वाजिना. Then the other, what is that? Teaching from the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad in the Yajnavalkya Maitreyi dialogue also says that one must let go. And let go. Either you let go externally or you let go internally. In fact, if you let go externally, you're also working on letting go internally. But the primary thing is to let go internally. And so that we saw. And then he says, he gives a little side swipe to the Agnishtoma, this Karmatha person, the person who is keeping on touting karma. What does he say? He says, Agnishtoma Stomavad iti uktam. And you had the audacity to compare a jnanam, which is not dependent on anything else except itself. It's not dependent on the doer. It's not dependent on other factors of action. It's not dependent on karakas. It's completely independent. It's dependent on pramana, means of knowledge. If the means of knowledge is there, then the knowledge shall and will and can take place. So therefore, what is to be done here? This has to be totally, fully assimilated. If jnanam is vastu tantram, dependent upon the vastu, dependent upon the true as the object is, the knowledge of the object is, then what is your karma? How does your karma come in at all? And you had the temerity to tell me it is just like Agnihotra. And you tried to say, oh, you also have to gain a few things. You have to gain a calm mind. You have to gain non-reactivity of the sense organs and the organs of action. You have to gain Shraddha. You have to gain Samadhanam, Viveka, Vairagya, Mumukshutvam, etc., etc. That also you have to gain. So see, it is like Agnishtoma. It is not. We have to not be very gullible to be waylaid by these similar looking arguments. And what did the example, the stock example, the people into karma give? The cooking of the rice. Yes, fire cooks the rice, but where is the pot? Without pot can you cook the rice? No. Without water can you cook the rice? No. So, just like that, your karma yoga, your titiksha, shraddha, samadhanam, mumukshutvam, this, that, everything is like cooking the rice. To them, we have to do a judo move. We have to use their own arguments against them. And then suddenly they're on the floor and, they have that in the comics, they show little birds and stars going around. They don't know what happened. They are asking fundamental spiritual questions. Who am I? When they wake up, they are completely stunned. And Adi Shankara does one such move here. And basically, we'll see it in the next verse, but basically what he is saying is that, okay, we'll take your own argument. For the cooking of the grain, the water and the pot are needed, all right. But is threshing the rice, the winnowing the rice, is it needed to cook the rice? Yes. No, you don't. You can cook it in the husk. And do you husk it while you cook it? No. When do you husk it? Before you cook it, you husk the grain. You winnow the grain before you cook it. While cooking, nobody says, I have to peel each grain. Nobody does that. While cooking, you don't do that. You either cook it in the husk, some recipes they do that. Somebody said, I have made for you, what was that called? Extra wild rice in somebody's house. It had just, the whole ear of rice had been put in water and cooked just like that. I said, this is nice to take a photograph. I don't know about eating it. Very pretty food. But apparently they do eat it. You have to kind of squeeze it out, and along with that you get the vitamins and you eat it. But you don't husk it while you cook it. While you cook it, husking is not necessary. When should the husking of the grain be done? Before. So when should Viveka, Vairagya, Shama, Dama, Uparati, Titiksha, Shama, Samadhanam, Mumukshutvam, when should that take place? Before I embark on Atmajnana. So there goes your rice cooking analogy. And then he says, this holy knowledge, which is at a different level of reality, which is at an absolutely different order of reality. Why is it at a different order of reality? Because it has nothing to do with karma. Knowledge and karma don't even look at each other. Now, one is neither the cause nor the effect, nothing. It's just two different orders of reality. And so therefore, don't bring in your Agnishtoma, your ritual. If you are wanting to compare Agnishtoma to something else, if you are itching for an example, he's trolling him now. Let me give you an example. And what is that example? Let us see. Yeah, we saw 22 also, which is where he says that this example is not fit. And what does he say here? Two reasons he gives. gives. One is because it is na ekakaraka sadhyatva. Your Agnishtoma is accomplished with the help of many materials, not for us. And phala anyatvat cha. Phala anyatvat means the quality and the result is different. Keeps differing on. Like for example, if you just do a puja, you get a little bit of punya. If you just do one homa, you get a tiny bit of punya. You say, I want to up the punya quotient. What should you do? You do upasana, meditation as well. You do meditation as well, and then what? Then you get a little more punya. Okay, I have done yajna, check. I have done upasana, check. Then what else can I do to increase the punya quotient? Give more in charity. Check. Okay, now I have the maximum amount of punya. Is that there in knowledge? I attended one retreat. I got 1/8 of Brahman. Then I attended 2 retreats. Then I got 1/4 of Brahman. Then I attended 3-4 more retreats. Is it like that? Is the knowledge of Brahman happening in increments? No. This is called phala anyatvam. That is not there. So for these reasons, your Agnishtoma and Atmajnanam have nothing in common. But looks like you want to compare. You like a comparative analysis. Let me give you something here. And then the verse 23 starts. Krishyadivat phalarthatvat anya karmopabrimhanam Agnishto mastvapeksheta vidyanyat kimapekshate krishyadivat phalarthatvat anya karmopabrimhanam Agnishto mastvapeksheta Vidyanat kim apekshate. Krishi Adivat. The best comparison of yajna and all your karmas is like agriculture. Krishi, like farming. So farming and Agnihotra, farming and this karma is similar. How is this similar? Because look at that. If you put in more fertilizer, what happens? You get more crop, just like your Agnishtoma. If you put in more hard work and then you aerate the soil, you plow it well, you have better produce. Then what else can you do for better produce? You put up a scarecrow like that so that the birds and the other pests don't eat it. I think they know. They just watch you putting it up and they're just laughing. And one of them sends an SMS to all of them. And they must have some kind of a list. And then they send it, and then each one knows. Everyone knows. And so, in fact, in some fields, I have seen the birds perch on the scarecrow. They're sitting on him. They're not in the least bit frightened. So, this is the like farming. So you put up a scarecrow, you think that you're scaring off the crows. But they are not scared. They just come when you're not looking. And then you just hire people to climb some big lids or some bells together to scare the things off. They just know when you're coming, know your time. And then they stop coming at that time. As soon as you go, they come. And when they are not scared, they come. So like this. But the agriculture example is much more pertinent over here. Why is pertinent? Because it is just like your Agnihotra karma. You put what you put in, you get back. You put in, what is that called? You put in some yajna, you get back a little bit of punya. You say, okay, I'll throw in some upasana as well. And then what happens to the punya? It increases. Okay, I will give some things in charity, dana, then the punya increases even more. Then you say, okay, now I'm on a roll. I think I'll fast. And then the punya increases even more. Can more increase. Punya taratamya is there. The comparative and superlative of punya is there. But this jnana taratamya is not there. So nobody can say, I have more self-knowledge than you. Thank God. Although they, in some texts, maybe even in Yoga Vasishtha, 6 kinds of jnanis are described. And in the beginning, you think 6 kinds of increase in knowledge is described. No, 6 kinds of vairagya as it pertains to the jnani is described. 6 forms of how vairagya sits on different jnanis in different ways. This doesn't have to do with how much one knows or how little one knows, because the self that we are talking about is not made up in parts. It is whole. You know it fully. You don't know it half. You don't know it in fragments. And so he does the karmatha, the one who is from the Purva Mimamsaka and the Jnana Karma Samuchayavadin a favor and says, stick to correct examples. So Agnishtomaha tu apreksheta. So Krishi Adivat, like agriculture and other related activities, Phalarthatvat. Phalarthatvat means the result that is produced. So what does it? It's dependent upon Anya Karma Upabrahmanam. Upabrahmanam means the amelioration, the collection of other karmas. It requires other secondary actions. But what about Vidya? It requires nothing. Kim apekshate. It is not dependent on anything at all. Then, in verse 24, we have the negation of pratyavaya dosha. What is pratyavaya dosha? Sudden quiz. Omission. The papa of omitting. Don't just say omission. The papa of omitting things that need to be done. Whatever needs to be done, if it is not done, nitya karma, when it's not done, attracts a dosha called pratyavaya dosha. Oh, then when I do nitya karma, I get punya? Not in the slightest. You don't get punya at all. That's not fair. You can't expect punya if each time you brush your teeth. Yeah, that's how nitya karma, right? You have to do it. Oh, I took a shower today. Can I have a gold star? You know, not 2 years old. Maybe the mother will give that just to encourage the child to have practice hygiene, to look forward to going to kindergarten, things like that. Then it is all right. So now the pratyavaya dosha and the Vihita Karma. Vihita Karma means that there were 3 arguments. Do you remember the 3 arguments that the whole chapter is refuting? What were the 3 arguments? What was the first one?
Can't have both.
No. What was the Purva Pakshi? Purva Pakshi says knowledge and karma must be practiced together. Karma without knowledge is not going to yield anything. The 2 are happily ever after friends. BFFs they are. They are best friends forever and you should never separate. And the second argument is that the first portion of the Veda says, do this karma until you die. And you can't suddenly leave it and go off to the second portion of the Veda. Who told you to do that? And the third one was this Pratyavaya. What are you going to do with this papa of omission? And why should I worry about the papa of omission? And to that they will say, the papa of omission is actually, what is it doing? It is deterring you from gaining moksha. Why? Because suddenly you will say, Vedanta class, I don't feel like going. Why? What happened? I don't know. I already went. Some block, some resistance. So that's why this is very, very important, extremely important here to understand that this pratyavaya dosha or the omission, what is that, the papa of omission cannot apply for the one who is doing Atmajnana, because that was already there, dispensed with earlier. Because all the people should do this, if it is said, then it's okay, but all the people are not doing karma. How many people are doing karma? Tell me. Not everybody is doing karma. Some people are doing karma. Who are the people doing karma? They are doing karma because they want to get a child. They are doing putra kameshti yajna. Is everybody doing putra kameshti yajna? No, certainly not in India, okay, or in China. So who is doing putra kameshti yajna? People who don't have children, that they are the adhikaris for putra kameshti. Who is doing Shri Sukta Homa? People who want more wealth are doing Shri Sukta Homa, Chandi Homa, all these things. It is meant for certain people. The whole Veda is not meant for everyone. So you can't have this Vihita argument, that also we saw. Then finally the Pratyavaya, it says that Pratyavayastu, we haven't chanted it. Pratyavayastu tasyaiva yasya hankara ishyate ahankara phalarthitve vidyete natmavedinah. So, who is the one? Pratyavaya. To whom is this Pratyavaya applicable? Adi Shankara asks. Who is affected by papa? The one who says I am a karta, correct? The one who owns up the papa, the bhoga here is the papa, the result. The one who owns up the karma phala is who? The karta. The karta says, the doer says, it belongs to me, not to you, it belongs to me. So the doer owns up the karma phala as mine, even if it's unpleasant. Mine. This is mine, this is not yours. So then, for the doership to happen, what should happen inside of the person? The person should be aligned, the ahankara, the I notion, should be aligned or identified with I is equal to doer. Do you see that? Ahankara has attached to the doer and has reminted itself as I am the doer. That is my identification. My identification is what? I am the doer. I am the doer. And so, if I keep operating under the belief that I am the doer, what will happen if I keep operating under the belief that I am the doer? Then all the omissions and commissions will come to me. That's what it is. I will become a magnet for all omissions and all commissions. I become a terrible magnet because I attract everything, because I'm mired into worship. It's just like if one has this much money in the bank account and then this much credit card or some mortgage debt. Then on the name, on the credit, whose name is there? The person's name is there. On the mortgage and other such credit card debt, whose name is there? The same person's name is there. So that person says, I am the borrower, I am the lender, these are my assets, this much I have borrowed, this is how the person defines themselves. And in the world of Papa Punya also, this kind of a self-definition naturally exists because one is oriented to this kind of a definition. Alas, as a result of this definition, what happens is that one falls into the pit of thinking that I have all this karma. In fact, the society also scares you. Oh, you think you're going to go for moksha? What about all your responsibilities? If you don't do your responsibilities, what will happen? You will get a lot of papa. You will get a lot of terrible things happen to you. You will get difficulties in life. This is how they scare. Because they don't want you to do anything else. Why? Because if you question these basic rubrics, dharma, adharma. What else is there? Papa, punya. Papa, punya, dharma, adharma. And then because of this dharma, adharma, I have omissions and commissions. And because of omissions and commissions, I have all this accountability. And I have all this karma in my name. Therefore, I need to be born again and again and again. If you stop questioning, if you stop believing that and questioning that, then it has a powerful effect on the entire society, at least your own community. Other people start to get scared. Because if you question it, and they are looking to you for, because they love you, they are looking up to you for validation and all this, and you start asking certain questions, they start getting nervous. Because, this means what? This person is going out of the society's control. This is the societal mechanism of control. So that means I also can't control them. That's the first source of fear. And the second source of fear is if they start interrogating and analyzing and doing a self-inquiry about these basic things that my grandmother, my grandfather, great-grandmother, great-grandfather, great-great-great-great-grandfather, great-great-great-great-grandmother, everybody took it for granted. And who is this upstart to suddenly do this? And if they are questioning it, that means what? I also have to question it. Because if they are doing something, I have to see what's in it. And then, therefore, that questioning itself is very scary for some. Karma is not absolute. Karma phala is not absolute. It's like a model. In physics, we have a model. This is like a model. It's totally a model. It's a model for an interim model until you understand the truth of yourself. So that you can walk on the path of dharma. That's all there is. Nothing else. So that you can walk on the path of dharma. That's all it is. Otherwise, people will be all over the place. Nobody will have any discipline. Anytime anybody will do whatever they want. With utter disregard to what is correct, what is appropriate, what is one's duty. No regard at all. They'll just go on doing whatever they want because they feel the rules do not apply to them. And if everybody feels the rules do not apply to them, then we will have chaos, anarchy. So the social system functions on these rules, and this model says that you are accountable. Each time you violate dharma, what happens? There are two kinds of consequences. Drishta phala and then adrishta phala. Drishtaphala is maybe an instant something happens. You snatch, somebody comes, the robber snatches the purse of another person. And then what? And the lady this is Bollywood theme movie. This is how Bollywood movies have themes. And the lady whose purse was snatched points to the villain and then tells all the people, get him. And they immediately get him, correct? And then what do? They beat him up, right? Then in the instant. Drishtaphalam. Goes home with a limping, with a body ache, head ache, back ache, front ache, side ache, and then what? No purse. Purse also has to be given back. Drishtaphala. Then, since the police has been informed, either that day or the next day, then the police go and catch him and then arrest him and put him in the locker. They lock him up. Adrishtaphalam, because it happens after a little while. Or you can say that he is released on bail immediately, but then he has to go to court, stand trial, and then he is convicted, put into prison. Adrishtaphala. Suppose he escapes means what? There is yet one more place, a court, which is Bhagavan's court. So there something will happen because karma phala he will get. Karma phala he will get. Next life, magpie, which likes all shiny things and takes shiny things from it. And sometimes swallows them and dies also. Sad, but this is what happens. It swallows keys, it swallows all kinds. Anything shiny, it's very attractive. I've read somewhere. So this is how the Drishtaphala is there, Adrishtaphala is there. Now do you feel like robbing anybody? No, I don't want to do that. Same thing, if somebody defrauds somebody, if somebody tells a lie and that lie hurts somebody else. All this has two kinds of consequences, visible, immediate consequence, and then what? Invisible consequences that will fructify at a later date. These two things are Satya. These two things will happen. That's why it is called, karma is called avashyam bhavi, means it will definitely happen, that which definitely happens. And then, so each time I flout dharma, then the karma phala I accrue translates into difficult situations in the here and the hereafter. Difficult situations. Karma cannot give sorrow. Never. It can give difficult situations, which then one out of ajnanam and deludedness internalizes. One internalizes these difficult situations and one feels targeted by those difficult situations. And because of that, one suffers. That feeling of why me is the cause of suffering, not the karma phala. Karma phala can give difficulties. Disease can come to the body, so pain is there, hunger is there, thirst is there. But to translate it into something that bothers me requires priya, apriya, raga, and dvesha. The operation of the raga dveshas, the uninterrogated raga dveshas, converts papa into sorrow. Even the jnani undergoes dukkha. Dukkha comes. Situations that could be sorrowful comes. But what does the Bhagavad Gita say? Dukkheshu anudvigna manaha, sukheshu vigataspriha. Anudvigna manaha means the mind is not disturbed. Even in the face of a great calamity, the mind is not disturbed. And similarly, the following dharma can give punya. Punya again is comfortable situations in the here or the hereafter, immediately or later, to be fructified later, where one is in a comfortable situation. Comfortable situation also we can practice not translating them into happiness. You're sitting in a nice seat, which is very comfortable. You can enjoy it, rock back and forth, and say, nice seat, lovely auditorium, temperature controlled, wonderful, handles, very nice. Enjoy it. But if you say, finally I'm happy, finally a decent place to sit, finally I got this, I've been working so hard. If you do that, then it's a recipe for sorrow immediately. And so this is karma, karma phala. And then the belief that the karma phala accrues to an account called sanchita karma is again to keep people in line. Not only this birth, but other births are also waiting for you. So better be careful how you act. Your behavior is going to decide what's going to come later. So this is all for accountability. This karma model is like a, what is that called? Training wheels on the bicycles of children. The 5-year-old, 6-year-old is wanting to ride a bicycle, but doesn't know how to balance. You just put it on the bicycle, it will fall on this side, then it will fall on that side. So the parents will put a couple of training wheels so that little support is given so that it can learn to balance and ride. Once the balancing is done, training wheels are needed, they are removed because their purpose is finished. This I don't know why people don't understand this. The purpose of karma and karma phala, this argument is also finished. What about sanchita? I said it has no purpose. And you're worried about sanchita. Sanchita is there so that the person who is not ready for the knowledge, I am not a doer. Because if without the qualifications you give this knowledge, you know what? You are not the doer. That will be every serial offender's defense. Not guilty, Your Honor. Why? By way of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. On the grounds that I am free of doing. By way of Bhagavad Gita chapter so-and-so verses so-and-so. Everybody's defense it would be. And in fact, the unsavory elements in society will welcome this knowledge. Oh, where were you all my life, Mr. Vedanta? I really want to live my life right now. I'm not the doer. Yippee. Wonderful. Now, I used to at least feel a little guilty if I robbed small children, but now that's also gone because I'm not the doer. So that's why this knowledge cannot be given aforehand. Because the values and attitudes must be in place. And dharma is the first purushartha that has to be accomplished. And so when this dharma is there, then only the person can somewhat understand Vedanta. And so to keep the people accountable, not only in this life but the other lives, the model of sanchita karma, agami karma, and then what is the other one? Prarabdha karma have been presented in the Shastra. It's brilliant, really. And just like when one no longer has an injury in the leg, one does not use a crutch. Do you use a crutch? And if somebody, supposing somebody is using a crutch, you say, oh, are you injured? No. Can you not walk? Oh, no, I can walk. And why do you have this crutch? You know, I had an injury long back, and then I got used to it and I feel empty without it. So I'm going to keep on using the crutches. Keep on using them. Why? Because I kind of like it. What will happen to the crutch without me? What will happen to me without the crutch? We go a long way. This is exactly addiction to karma, karma phala, all this. This is exactly like using the crutch when you need not use the crutch. Sometimes people develop dependencies on various devices and everything. It's possible. The doctor says there is no reason why you can't walk. No, I think I need this crutch. What to do? And when this knowledge is gained, when one is a mumukshu, and when one gains this knowledge that I am not a karta, what happens to all three karmas? They just resolve right then and there. Even Sanchita, yes, especially, and even Sanchita, that also goes in. But how does it go away? How can it go away? It was already there. It's like three people were chasing you in your dream. Let's name them Agami, Prarabdha, and Sanchita. You were trying to outrun these three fellows. They were too good and too clever. In fact, one came from that side, one came from this side, and one came right in front of you. And they just surrounded you, encircled you. And you said, oh, I'm caught. I'm caught in the vice grip of Prarabdha, Agami, and Sanchita. Those were your last words in the dream. Okay? You woke up. Do you continue to run? No. Why? That was then, this is now. Dream Sanchita, dream Agami, dream Prarabdha. Once the dharma is accomplished, one becomes incapable of going away from dharma or violating dharma. Once one becomes incapable of violating dharma, one is ready for Atmajnana. When one is ready for Atmajnanam, one is ready to look into this whole karma business, how it applies to me, what is it really, etc. So, karma is not something that is velcroed to the jiva at birth. It is more like a dry skin, like in the winter. Naturally, it sloughs off. It sloughs off when you don't need it. And this way, when I look at it, then the freedom from kartrutva is not too far away when I understand this. More we'll see in tomorrow's class. One important announcement. Today at from tonight onwards, satsang onwards, till the end of the camp, we will be having our classes in the newly consecrated temple hall. Yes, so we'll be right next to Dakshinamurti starting tonight. And then, in honor of the Kumbhabhishekam, Aishwarya of many talents is going to offer a small little dance program starting at 7:30. You don't want to miss it. How many minutes? Yeah, so 20-25 minutes. After that, we'll have Q&A. Ready to stay up till 9 today? Yes. Oh my, nightlife. Okay. Thank you very much. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. So 7:30 over there. Good.